Hi, it's Conor Svensson, founder and CEO of Web3 Labs, and this is your Week in Blockchain on Monday, the 4th of October 2021. The highlights this week include Europe is now the largest crypto economy, Facebook is building a Metaverse, Visa develops a CBDC interop proof of concept, R3 announces a DeFi token, Compound accidentally sends $90 million to its users, and DC Comics are giving away millions of free NFTs on the Ethereum compatible Palm blockchain. This week in crypto, Binance has announced that it's going to restrict crypto offerings to Singapore users. So off the back of regulatory pressures, the fiat deposit, spot trading and purchase of crypto through fiat channels, which are considered regulated payment services, are no longer to be provided to comply with this regulation. It's not clear at this point whether they'll be offered via Binance's Singapore platform. However, the thing here is that off the back of regulatory pressures, this is the first time we've seen Binance stop offering some of its kind of core crypto exchange functionality. With all of the other regulatory pressures it's come under, what's typically happened is it's not been able to be considered a platform that provides financial advice and so on. Whereas this time, what's happening here is they're actually pulling the plug on some of the core products. So whether it pops up on their Singapore platform or not remains to be seen, but it could be bad news for Binance in that respect. The crypto exchange Huobi has ceased all mainland China accounts. So Huobi Global was one of the major crypto exchanges that catered for customers in mainland China, and it's said that they're going to actually suspend all Chinese user accounts later on this year. And they've already discontinued registration, but this is all off the back of recent news where the People's Bank of China basically said that crypto trading activities were no longer going to be legal there. So it's certainly not unexpected, so to speak, but Huobi is one of the first major exchanges to actually react to this crackdown order. Also related to this, CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap are now blocked by China's internet firewall. So CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, they're two of the leading sites for information about tokens and what's happening more broadly within the crypto markets. They provide lots of analytics and so on, and according to results on the website greatfire.org, which is an online tool which enables you to check which sites are censored, it shows that these sites are no longer available. Moving on to Coinbase, they've announced that they're going to be launching direct crypto support for paycheck deposits in the US. So what this basically means is that when people get paid their paychecks, they'll actually be able to deposit them directly into their online Coinbase accounts. And so this is something that they announced on a blog post in the last week. And the intent here is that it'll just make it easier for people to funnel basically some of their paycheck directly into crypto there. Off the back of that, they could keep it in fiat, but of course, why else would you put money into Coinbase unless you wanted to actually put some of it in crypto there as such. The CFTC has fined the Kraken exchange $1.25 million due to them failing to register as a futures commission merchant and offering margin transactions in crypto. Kraken's one of the leading crypto exchanges. They're certainly they're a very popular platform, not as popular as Coinbase, but being another US-based crypto exchange, they certainly they've got a lot of users there. And with this, they offer a number of different products, including staking. But then also in this instance, basically, what Kraken had done was that they offered like these margin and high return types of products and futures and so on, but they didn't actually register it as such. So it's more of a box ticking exercise on their side in that they didn't comply with it because they accepted orders, money and property to margin transactions, and the CFTC claimed that this is an illegal operation. So it's a small slap on the wrist for them, but of course just just shows as well that the increased scrutiny that these venues are coming under. Europe has become the largest crypto economy with over $1 trillion in transactions, according to a report from Chain Analysis. And so this is looking at the regions of Central, Northern and Western Europe, and apparently it's the most active cryptocurrency collection of markets, so to speak. And in the last year, they traded over $1 trillion worth of assets. And apparently this accounts for 25% of global crypto activity between July 2020 and July 2021. Apparently as well, it's been a hotbed for institutional investing as well, where the actual category of institutional investments had swelled to over 46 billion in June compared with just 1.4 billion in July. And the UK is the single largest crypto economy in the region, apparently, with $170 billion worth of transactions, and nearly half of all of this value is sent via DeFi protocols as well. So it's certainly a good thing for those of you who are based in the UK, like myself, in terms of the fondness of DeFi and different crypto activity going on here. On another note, in the UK, the Bank of England, they've announced the members of their CBDC working groups. This is something that we spoke about previously, that they'd basically put out like a request for contributors, for people to actually sign up and provide feedback on their plans for CBDCs. And they've announced that they're going to be pairing up with a number of different companies. And so these include PayPal, Monzo, Starling, Checkout.com, Consensus, R3, Visa and MasterCard. There's the big names there. It's certainly great news to see all of these companies getting involved with this, because between them they no doubt have a lot of very relevant expertise. From an advisory perspective, they're certainly well placed to ensure that the Bank of England goes in a sensible direction with its CBDC plans. Of course, this is something that's going to take years to actually come to market, so to speak, but having people who are really at the forefront of fintech as well as blockchain will ensure that thinking about this in a pragmatic manner, and that hopefully it can come to fruition soon. Enterprise news: Facebook has announced that they're going to be building a metaverse, and the key thing here is that they want it to be done responsibly. So Mark Zuckerberg actually said that the company's on a path to become a metaverse company, and they're planning to spend over $50 million over the next couple of years to make this happen. And they announced the XR Programs and Research Fund, which is a 2-year initiative to fund their own projects and external research into the space. Apparently, they're working, though, with some important partners here as well, which includes the Organization of American States, Women in Immersive Tech, and African organizations, Electric South and Africa No Filter and Emisi 3D, and they're going to be consulting with academic institutions as well. But the thing is, they don't want to do this all single-handedly. They want to kind of create something, and that's ultimately, other organizations and people get involved in, and they're looking at some big time horizons here of 10 to 15 years. Moving on to our protocol news, Cardano has announced that they're investing $100 million in NFT, DeFi and blockchain education. They recently had the Cardano summit, and they said that they were going to be investing these funds towards educating people on blockchain, but they also want to ensure that DeFi and NFT solutions are starting to get built out there and help drive the adoption there. Of course, it makes sense that Cardano are really going after this market. They're still the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap, and a very popular blockchain, but they're still very early in terms of the technology they are providing. That they've only released their smart contract platform recently on their test nets, and they need to still go a fair way to actually prove out the technology and actually gain adoption there. So they're definitely one to watch in that respect, but they're of course nowhere near the level of adoption that Ethereum has in this respect. Visa has announced that they've created an interoperability proof of concept for central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Apparently, they deployed a sample smart contract on Ethereum's Ropsten testnet as well here. They called this prototype Universal Payments Channel, which basically says how various blockchain networks can be interconnected to allow the transfer of CBDCs, and how, of course, Visa can help with this as well. And so it's a fascinating initiative to see, because, of course, Visa, given the volume of payments that they handle, being one of the main backbones for payment services, it makes sense for them to be aligned here. But seeing them coming at it from the angle of CBDCs will no doubt help cement their potential position in this new place. We've been talking a lot as well in recent months about how hot the area of scaling and interoperability of blockchains is as well. So coming at it from the specific use case of CBDCs there is a smart move by them. Over in the DeFi, another note on Cardano, they've got a new stable coin arriving on their platform. The idea here is to actually provide DeFi operations and avoid transaction fees. So they've got this payment gateway provider called Coty, and they're issuing this thing called DJED, which is a stable coin on Cardano. This stable coin is going to use smart contracts to ensure price stability, and provide an instrument for DeFi transactions. So when you hear that, it kind of makes you think of MakerDAO on Ethereum in terms of, they have their DAI stablecoin, and it's basically using smart contracts and investments into those smart contracts to actually help control the pegging to the dollar that happens with it. Apparently, what they've said in terms of the research paper though for DGED is that it's going to behave like an autonomous bank that buys and sells stable coins for a price in a range that's pegged at a target price. So again, very, very similar to what's been said previously about DAI, and DAI of course has got huge adoption. It's really proven itself as like an algorithmic stable coin as well, and being a fantastic innovation that's got wide adoption. So we'll see how they get on with this on Cardano there, but of course it makes sense for them to offer something like this on the platform. R3, the creators of Corda, they've announced that they're creating a regulatory friendly DeFi network and token that's going to be called Obscuro. So CordaCon happened this week, which is their developer summer, and apparently this is still in proof of concept phases, but the idea is that it's a private permissionless DeFi network with its own token. And what they want to make a lot of use here though to do as well is, when they talk about private and permissionless, they actually want to build on top of Intel's SGX technology to ensure that transactions happen on a secured hardware enclave. So R3 have been working with Intel for a number of years on this technology, and so their intent here is that you'd have in effect a network of nodes running Intel's SGX enclaves, and they believe it could reduce front running in DeFi applications because there's just going to be that privacy on the transactions that are going into the network. You can think of it as people won't have that visibility of transactions that are going in because they're going into an enclave and being processed there as well. But one of the other fascinating things here is that they actually want to support Ethereum on this as well. So support Ethereum smart contracts in a similar vein of what you've seen on other layer 2 networks, and they'll provide like roll-ups of encrypted transactions to some sort of management contract. So it seems like a smart move by them in terms of using this hardware-based enclave technology. Intel have certainly been big proponents of the power of it and trying to find really good use cases for it for a number of years. And for R3, I think what's fascinating here is that they're really pushing the Ethereum compatible angle as well. And it just speaks to why so many different companies now are creating their own layer 2 scaling technologies for Ethereum rather than trying to reinvent the wheel and provide their own blockchain network, because so many people recognize the value of what's there with it. It'll definitely be one to watch. Other news, there was a bug in the compounds protocol this week. So what happened was roughly $90 million worth of their tokens, which are called comp, after a smart contract bug basically meant that they got distributed to a load of their users. And so these comp tokens are used for governance by the Compound protocol, and they give people a say in the actual protocol. What happened basically was they did this update to this smart contract, which distributed these comp tokens to users of the protocol, and there was a bug that basically meant that some users received far too much. Apparently there was 280,000 tokens that were wrongly distributed, and the thing was though, the founder of Compound basically got in touch to the community saying, this was on Twitter, said that anyone who gives back their tokens can keep 10%, and basically said for those who fail to comply, he said he basically threatened that it would be reported as income to the IRS if you didn't, if you weren't a good Samaritan in this instance. So quite an aggressive message to put out there to users of the protocol that because we've messed up, if you don't return the funds, we're going to come after you. At the end of the day, the Compound uses a decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO contract, kind of for its governance. And so the creators of the protocol, they don't really have, yes, they obviously provided a lot of the infrastructure and so on here, but they're just another participant in the DAO governance procedure there. So by being quite aggressively wording what they said they do to their users, it's not really a good way of engaging the community there, especially when they're the ones that have messed up here. I don't have any information on to what extent the actual tokens have come back there, but it's certainly been an interesting development there. The DEX aggregator 1inch apparently are going to be launching a separate American platform. And so they've actually started geofencing IP addresses of people who are based in the US. Apparently, this is to support this launch of their new product in the US. And so they've recently closed the Series B funding round that ended up being 175 instead of 70 million, and they want to use a significant amount of this to have a specifically designed US market version of the protocol, supporting institutional investors as well. And so 1inch is the dominant decentralized exchange aggregator on the market, accounting for almost 2/3 of the overall volume. MetaMask challenger called XDEFI has secured $6 million in funding to scale their next generation browser wallet. They've got a number of big names behind that, including Alameda Research, Animoca Brands, CoinGecko, and some of the other big DeFi users. And so the idea here is that it's another Chrome extension that will provide the fastest possible experience for DeFi and NFTs, and they're going to have native integrations with 9 different blockchains apparently, and their own gas pricing algorithms to ensure users never miss a block, and so on and so forth. So again, I mean, this market is definitely hotting up at the moment. So we reported early this year how MetaMask was turning over, I think it was $100 million per month in token exchanges on the network, and they were generating significant fees that basically meant revenue for the project off the back of it. And so no doubt lots of other people are now jumping into the market. But wallets as well on for DeFi, it's still quite a clunky experience. So there's lots of opportunity for people who find ways to smooth out the user experience there to actually get traction. But it is going to be a challenging thing to actually move people off MetaMask, given that they've been quite embedded in and focused on this whole space for a number of years now, and managed to create a profitable business model off the back of it. The Gelato Network, which is a DeFi automation protocol, they've raised a $11 million Series A funding, and so this is a Berlin-based company that were founded in 2019, and they automate tasks on DeFi platforms. So this was a round that was led by Dragonfly Capital, and also had support from IDEO Collabs and Stanny from Aave. And so the whole idea of automation on DeFi it's quite a key concept, because for those of you who've actually engaged with the DeFi ecosystem, it is quite clunky. There's a lot of things that you need to keep track of yourself as well around your positions, and things like impairment loss and these various other things which it's hard to keep up with. So these sorts of automation platforms are absolutely key for just streamlining the user experience for them. You already have platforms like Xerion that are well established too, but again, it's another area that's definitely hotting up in terms of the automation potential there. Moving on to NFTs, Andrew Cronje, the Yen Finance creator, he's launched a new NFT marketplace called Artion, or Artion, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but this is actually on the Phantom blockchain, and apparently it's just like OpenSea. However, unlike OpenSea, they don't actually take any commission, but it will eventually support the same tokens as OpenSea. And on Phantom, it costs very little to actually mint NFTs. They're saying about $1.30, and of course, it costs a lot more on Ethereum. And they store the NFTs on the IPFS network, like many of the Ethereum-based NFTs, and they're priced according to feeds from the Chainlink network. It's all open source as well, and the creator Cronje does expect people to experiment with it. And his view here is that he's not trying to sync other platforms, but he likes to start fires though and kind of explore and see what's possible there. So it's always fun when you see people innovating and just coming up with new ways to approach these existing problems and opportunities that people have. To tie in with the latest 007 or the James Bond movie release, there's an NFT launch happening. So Vivi, which is a mobile first digital collectibles platform, has partnered with Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios, or MGM, to launch a series of NFTs from the James Bond franchise, and the first ones are going to be tied in with No Time to Die, which is the latest movie. So people are going to be able to purchase collectibles inspired by the films exclusively through the app. The exact date of this is yet to be announced, but it's certainly a timely release there. The founder of Atari is launching augmented reality NFTs on Ethereum. So this is the Arcade OG series, they're called, which is a set of Ethereum-based collectibles. And so in this case, it's going to be a 3D rendering of Atari games such as Pong, other things tied in with it. like an arcade game cabinet, and each one of these NFTs is more than just a clip, though. It's collectible and comes with augmented reality experiences that enables you to view 3D renderings of the arcade cabinets within any real world space, and people can then actually explore it there. And so each NFT project is spanning a number of different collectibles, and they're going to be available shortly. So another fun release that's happening there. Mark Cuban and Coinbase, they're backing a platform called Eternal, which is an NFT marketplace for trading Twitch streamer clips. And so what they want to do basically is Twitch is one of the big platforms for streaming of gamers, and they kind of want to do what's been done with NBA Top Shops, where it's like legendary basketball moments, but they want to do it for legendary streamers of games basically. So it kind of goes over my head that world a little bit, but no doubt there'll be some demand there because it's a massive industry out there. The NFL have announced that they're actually partnering up with Dapper Labs to launch an American football-focused NFT market. And so this no doubt will look a bit like the NBA Top Shot series and CryptoKitties that came before it, with an American football-orientated marketplace as well. Dapper Labs, given the success they've had with Top Shots there, it's kind of a no-brainer that they have a good ability to execute on this sort of offer. And so for fans of the NFL, they'll no doubt be flocking to this. Binance Charity, which is the first ever blockchain-enabled transparent donation platform. They actually have come up with a very ambitious NFT tree planting project where they're planning to plant 10 million trees worldwide. They've got a number of different people from the crypto industry involved in this, and they want to have 100 members by the launch date, which is March 2021, in celebration of the UN Day of Forests. And so the idea is that they use NFTs to track how donors' money has been spent and record details such as the tree that's been planted and where that's happened, and 100% of all donations will go to the project execution partners. So again, it's another good initiative to see with if it's able to actually raise some funds that are having a positive environmental impact there. Certainly, there's been a lot of criticisms of the NFT market and the power it consumes, and that's just because of the Ethereum blockchain right now does use a lot of power, but that'll be changing next year. But in the meantime, anyway, all these sorts of initiatives are certainly great to see there. For those of you who remember the Sims games, the creator of them is going to be releasing an NFT game. So the creator of the Sims was Will Wright, and he created like Sim City and the Sims. And what he wants to do is have a video game project. This one's called Proxy, which is a simulation game driven by AI, and it's the intent is to take players on a journey of self-discovery and discover in-game digital assets as well that they can own. There'll be like user avatars and so on, and people can have all these different NFT based game items in there as well. So it'll be another one to watch for those of you who are fans of The Sims anyway, certainly seeing this convergence of the old and the new there. Ripple have come to the NFT party, it seems, as well. This is a bit later than most, but they've certainly got a lot of money in their coffers, so you can see why. They've announced a $250 million fund to support NFT projects on their ledger. And so this is for anyone who wants to build NFT projects on it, and they'll provide NFT artists with marketplaces, financial and creative and technical support. And they've partnered with some other NFT marketplaces, including Mint NFT and Mintable, which actually Ripple is an investor in alongside Mark Cuban and some others. And so they're saying that they're obviously pushing their platform for it. Given that the whole point of Ripple was always about facilitating cross-border payments, and to be honest with you, I'm not sure what else is actually going on there other than people speculating on the price of the XRP token. It's funny that they've kind of come in and said, yeah, we've got a platform for NFTs here, but as with so many of these crypto projects, they've got a lot of money there. So if they're going to throw that out there, and no doubt that people will come to it. Twitter's head of consumer product marketing, they've released a video showing unreleased in development tools for users who want to have an NFT profile picture. So This is something where they can select an NFT as their profile picture, and then they can connect a wallet using Coinbase or MetaMask, and then they can actually use an NFT they own as a profile picture. And apparently there will be some sort of verification in there as well, to show that they actually own it. So that'll definitely be a fun feature as and when it's launched, to see what people wish to put up there. TikTok as well, they've announced the NFT collection that's going to have its top content creators partner with top NFT creators. And so these TikTok top moments will feature 6 culturally significant TikTok videos. So you're going to have people like Lil Nas X, Curtis Roach, Brittany Broski, and they're going to partner with like coin artist, RTFKT, Grimes, and others, and create these limited edition NFTs that are tied into these videos. Another entertaining drop to watch out for. And then finally, DC Comics, they've got into the NFT action as well, and so they've partnered up with Palm NFT Studio to create a new line of NFTs for their upcoming DC like comic book convention that they're having online. And so this is going to have characters like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Harley Quinn, and the Green Lantern. And so anyone who registers for this DC Fandom 2021 streaming event, which is happening this week, they'll receive a free NFT for it, and they can also unlock additional NFTs by sharing words via social media. So what's fascinating here is that they're going to be sending out potentially millions of NFTs here, and so there's there could be a lot of people getting potentially some pretty cool NFTs, because there's a lot of fans out there of DC Comics, right? So it's one that anyone can sign up to as well. So it's going to be a really fun way for lots of people to get some exposure to the space for free, and it being on the Palm blockchain as well means that there aren't going to be fees for people to do things with those NFTs as well, as long as they stay on Palm there. So yeah, one you can sign up for free anyway. I certainly did, just because why not. So moving on to our metrics, the crypto market cap, it's up just over 11% to $2.1 trillion. Assets locked in DeFi are up a similar amount, just under 11%, just shy of $89 billion. 7-day NFT sales are up a whopping 108%, where we've seen over $490 million of sales, with an average price of $3,335 as well, which is an increase of 25%. That's all we have for this week. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. Also like this video as well if you're watching it. Links to all items discussed are available on our show notes and on our website, weekinblockchain.com. We've also just launched a new podcast, Blockchain Innovators, where I speak to individuals who've made significant contributions to the blockchain ecosystem, find out what inspires these people, get their thoughts on the latest industry news and events spanning DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, IoT, protocols, and of course crypto. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.